It's almost for a clean studio. 48 hours later.
It's got 57 degrees. And it's about to get even colder.
Kind of a cool little update. Check this out. Finally finished this thing last night. Well, this morning about 2 o'clock. 2:17 to be exact. Surprised I got the right amount of rest. Feel like I need to crawl in bed right now. Look at that flawless craftsmanship on the angles. Looks like one single piece, doesn't it? All it needs now is the black spray paint. And then it's got to sit around for about 2 days to dry 100%. But first I got to take that thing out. But you already know. Bam. Let me see if I can work my way over here. Oh, by the way, I got that hung up after I cleaned it. Definitely got to make more of those. I got plenty of items. Plenty of art pieces to work with. Yeah, cool. But this is where it goes right here. On center. Got to put a screw underneath. Yep, that's it. You're looking at not really the final piece. I got to put 2 more extensions on here. 2 more tentacles that are meant to support that piece. Can't wait to get this thing finalized. Been working on it for about a month, it seems. Well, because I've been lazy. I knew how difficult it was going to be to do this. Why do you think I've been holding off on it? Guys, this thing took me 5.5 hours last night to finish it. And it's not even done yet. I gotta spray paint it. Gotta make sure it's as perfect as this. Gotta be careful when I touch it. Gotta put on the gloves, make sure I don't leave any marks. Because if I have to clean out the marks, it's going to leave hairline scratches. Balance is key for this kind of stuff right here. If you know what I meant by that. But this, you talk about a mess. I had to stand up 3 different times last night and this morning to shake off the snow. It has littered the landscape. It's even stuck on this. It's even stuck on that. Stuck on a telescope. Stuck on the table. Yeah, out of the 5.5 hours, I think 3.5 was spent shaving off the edges and sanding it down with 400 grit. Extra fine sandpaper to get it as perfectly as possible. To get it done as perfectly as possible. Excuse me, with my English. It's the most glorious thing to create. Really is. But the snow involved. Look at that. It's the weirdest thing though. The last time I stood up and shook it off the pants, blew it off the hands, and I looked down and I said, it looks like snow falling. Should have kept my big mouth shut. It was supposed to be mostly cloudy on Sunday. Then it was supposed to be a 30% chance of rain. They changed it to 30% chance of rain. And then just overnight, they changed the forecast to be 100% chance of snow and sleet. The company already sent out a bunch of emails, a bunch of messages, trying to prepare in case it iced over. Who can work from home? Who can't? Who's set up to work from home? Who's not? If we're unable to come into work due to the ice and snow. Let me go ahead and spray paint this thing. You know what? Screw it. I'm not about to take that thing out. I worked so hard to get it in there perfectly. I just covered it with packing tape, shipping tape. So I can do this thing right. The balance is absolutely perfect. It's calibrated. Absolutely perfectly. Sitting there perfectly. Rotated at the right angle. On center. Don't want any mistakes in this. Would hate to throw off the balance. Last thing I ever wanted. Time to spray it. See, that's what it's supposed to look like right there. Look at that. Flawless edges. It's not done though. I got to do the bottom on all sides. One more coat. Well, I knew there was another good reason why I had to keep the loop on there. So I can balance it up, so it can dry. And not touch anything else. Perfect. Tonight's a big night. It's a very big night for us, by the way. It is. You probably don't think so, but it's Friday night. Time to party it up with the ladies. I wish. It's a big night tonight. I get the glue on this thing. Well, not really glue it. Mount it, I guess I would have to say. Almost afraid to touch. I gotta put on the gloves though. It's like petting a kitty cat. Perfect balance. Not too bad. Cannot afford to put on another coat. It'll cause fracture marks in it. Well, not really peeling, but a different kind of art within it. Gotta be careful though. It's still going to transfer onto the hands. Gotta break out the gloves. Try to get it on there right. as perfectly as possible. It's got to be perfectly centered, but first of all, I got to drill a hole in the bottom so I can screw a screw inside of it. Everything is orchestrated in a different way. Got to drill a hole. Should have done that before. But I have confidence that the adhesive is going to be flawless for this. Yeah, I think I'll attempt to try to drill a hole in the bottom so a screw can go in there easily. Everything's got to be done in a very specific order. Got to drill a hole in the bottom first. Right here. Right where the center part is. The center point of where this is supposed to go. Yeah. Got to get that done. It's going to be nerve-wracking trying to get that thing on there perfectly, though. I don't know if I should give it more time to dry. What the heck was that noise? Yeah, it was probably the plastic bag that was moving around in the breeze or something like that, but I'm anxious to get this done. Cannot wait to find out what this... Well, I already know what it's going to look like. I know you're saying, but DaVinci is too dark in your studio. We can't see anything at all. Got to be extremely careful with this. One wrong move will distort the whole thing. One wrong move, one wrong placement, one wrong motion. That thing's going to be beautiful. Let me go ahead and see what I can do about getting this thing completed tonight, mostly. At least get the objects mounted. I'm still working on a couple of pieces, though. Had to use the wood glue, which takes 24 freaking hours to dry. Completely. But those are the two final pieces. And they're still not done. I need 2 more extensions. 1 at each top. So I can have adequate depth for those things. It's supposed to resemble arms supporting the heavier piece. But first things first, I gotta put this on there. We might be able to do with just 1. I tested it before. It worked out flawlessly. The balance was so perfect. It's almost as if all I need is this one, but I want to make it more artistic. We'll get to the design concept in a little bit, though, once I complete this thing. After 2 months since I started this thing. Yeah, but every dowel is... How should I say this? Well, each of these dowels is a particular scale, smaller than the biggest one. The scale of the golden ratio. A scale smaller than the one bigger than the one before. That's part of the concept, but also resembles the strength of each one. So this is the smallest one here, and it's also the shortest one. That goes on the 3rd round of spirals within a spring. And this one's on the 5th. Sure thing on that. Sorry about the darkness. I was too lazy to put on the turn on the flashlight for you. Let me go ahead and try to do this thing perfectly as possible. Dang. Heart's going to be pounding. No wrong moves, no mistakes. allowed. I got 2 different kinds of glue adhesive at the bottom right here. And then I got to finalize it with the screw from underneath. Quite modern. I told you I was a big fan of modern art. Always trying to create it. I don't know where I get my motivation from. I just do it. Perfectly centered. Well, I'm moved to the side a little bit. I haven't taken the tape off yet. Yeah, but I put wood glue at the bottom down there just in case. Because as you know, when you sand the ends of these things, the wood, it does something to the, the straws, whatever they call them, within the wood. And you can't put super glue on it. You can't put any kind of super glue on it. You got to use some kind of heavy duty adhesive. I always use wood glue for the ends though. But I use a super glue so it makes the bond even stronger. So it can adhere quicker. Yeah, I'm a little bit bummed at the moment. I'm a little bit shaky because I had to get this thing perfect. And I sat down after I got it up the first time. I know you just heard me say the first time. Well, I was looking at it, and my eye saw something I didn't like. It looked kind of crooked, like I didn't get it perfectly aligned, like it was kind of leaning a little bit, just a tiny bit. And I stood up at the same time while I was trying to wiggle it free. And it came forward and fell. You can believe I dropped the F-bomb at least 12 times, thinking I'd ruin this thing. Put some dents on it, scratched off the paint. I gotta be more careful, but I'm over anxious when it comes to completing things, because it's very difficult for me to complete things on time. If there was a time limit, that is. Over anxious, because I know it's just one last move. Put the screw in. And then I gotta mount that thing on there. Well, not mount it, place it. And it worked so perfectly first time. Let's hope it's going to be right this time, because everything is calculated absolutely perfectly. The length of it, how far it extrudes out, how far it goes down, and how deep the loop is screwed in there. Everything is calculated perfectly. We'll find out later. Let me give it some more time. Exactly the way I designed. In my mind, that is. Perfect balance. perfect length, perfect scale, perfect dimensions, perfect weight. Something about the modern art, though. Haven't figured that one out. I'm looking. Perfectly aligned. And hanging off the edge on both of them. Exactly the way I intended for it to be. Balanced. Completed without a ruler, any kind of scale. Just completed with my mind. But it begins somewhere. I don't know about the other pieces though. I want to just like fill in the sides a little bit. Make it look more equal. I mean, that looks cool as it is. The quality. It's being hung. But it's also got its own foundation. Hung and supported at the same time. Kind of like life in a different way. Glad I chose those colors. Makes it stand out a little bit. Let me see here. Yeah, bam. This one goes on this side. Oh yeah, that's going to look tight. All right. That one goes on this side. It's got to be perfectly centered though. Within the circle. Both circles. There we go. Yeah. And I got to put it on an extension right here. Only about maybe a ½ inch. Because I need the depth for the screw to go in there. Another one of these things right here. Because that's not thick enough. Had to take that in consideration. And then the screw right here mounts on here. Well, you know, I got to put that on first. So basically, I got to take this thing apart. It's not going to be that hard. Not at all. Such an easy thing to take apart. Yeah, so basically another one goes here. And then it's extended out. So it's supported on that side. And then I got the other one. Bam. It's almost like a different kind of golden ratio right here. It's always been part of my mind. Is it centered? Yes, it is. Oh yeah, that's going to look tight for real. Huh. It's almost like looking at a clock in a different way. Dang. Can't wait to finish this thing up. Different perspective, you can see how the spirals match up with the tops. Yeah, so basically the same concept here. Got a little tiny wood extension right here. And then the little circle that mounts on this, just to give it a little extra support on the sides. That's it. Dang. Museum quality. Can't hold the camera equal. I'm not taking pictures, I'm just looking. It's supposed to look like an eye if you look at it right. But I guess it's supposed to look like a piece of modern art is all it is. About dang time I'm close to finishing another one. Really though. Yeah, that thing's gonna be tight. I need to put on those extensions. Fill it out a little bit more. Kind of equalize the piece. Let's hope I can get it right. You know what? I'm having second thoughts. I don't know if it's a good idea to add these extensions. I think you'll throw off the balance, the meaning of the piece. It's elegant as it is. Modern, contemporary, whatever you call it. It stands within the idea. But if I put these things on there, it's going to throw off the balance. I worked so hard to balance this thing. Make sure everything was absolutely perfect. But if I do, it's going to throw off the balance. It's not going to be equal. Not to mention that, it'll put us in a trap. We will be in a trap if we put the things on there. The extra extensions. The extra supports. Therefore, there will be lack of support within the idea, the soul of the piece. Not really wasted time. Not at all. But I found the answer in these pieces. Measurements were slight off. Off ever so slightly. Because I didn't see the balance until I put the piece on there. The true balance. Only wasted about 12-15 minutes. And after I found the answer, it told me it's going to be useless. A waste of time to put these things on there. You're saying, how's the balance off on these pieces? The calculation wrong. How's it so wrong? Because look how much extra material is left at the top of these things. And I miscalculated. Yeah. So basically, I would have to put these things together first. And finish it. And shave off the top. And then I'd have to struggle trying to put this thing on there. Both of them. Because how would I have to do it? Would I have to leave these things on here and then try my best to screw these things on there after I drill a hole and then glue it with wood glue. But like I said, once that part is done on both sides, we're trapped. There's no way out. It's stuck for life. No freedom. No freedom to redo anything. To change. To make it cleaner. To fix it. But how so? Because you're looking at it. If these pieces were placed on here and screwed on tight, how do we ever take it off? There's no way you can unless you break it. And the last thing I want to do is break it. So therefore, I just made my decision to leave as is. Easy to take apart, easy to look at, no confusion. You see what it's meant to be. What's meant to be will always be. And that's what it is. Yeah, cool. Well, I guess I can mark this one off the list as being complete 100%. As simple as it may seem. It's one thing about art. It may seem simple, but so difficult to conceive, put together, design. And that's what it is. It's weird though. What an optical illusion. I was looking at it from right over here, trying to figure out the best route, the best decision to make when it came to adding those things. It took about 20 minutes to make the decision, to see if it was going to look right at every angle, every perspective. And the more I looked at it, the more I realized I shouldn't put those things on there. Because remember what I said in the beginning, the last thing I want to do is take away from the centerpiece. The center of it all. The last thing I wanted to do was do something that was going to take away from the focus of it. Yeah, but a weird optical illusion in this. It's not perfectly centered. It seems like it's not, but it is. I mean, just look at it now. It doesn't look like it's perfectly centered on the circle. But then you look at it like this. And it is. And you look at it like this and it is. But it's not. Because the shape and the orientation of the spiral itself, the circles, the spiral, excuse my sinuses. Just because of its own design, it's equal, but it's not. It's centered, but it's not. Cool. Yep, you're looking at a completed piece, but not really. I just forgot something, dang it. I gotta paint these things right here, real quick. But I'll worry about that no more. Don't want any blemishes. Don't want anything to stand out as a mistake. Hope you like it. I know I do now. Let me figure out what to do with these later. I'm sure I'll come up with something. See you later.